What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. Today I want to talk to you about Lucid. They did put out some SEC forms after hours on Friday, so I wanted to go over what they mean and everything else you need to know. But first, make sure you guys hit that thumbs up, and with that, let's get right to it. So popping over here, they did submit 4 different things to the SEC after hours Friday. So 2 Form 4s, one 8K and one S8. This 8K was simply just them disclosing the results of the most recent shareholder meeting. So you had the election of the directors. Number 2 is the accounting firm, so ratifying that. Number 3 is the compensation of the named executive officers. And then number 4 is the employee stock incentive plan. So nothing crazy. You can kind of see based on the votes for that, the PIF was in favor of all of these. So it is what it is, whatever. So Lucid did this and submitted it to the SEC in a good time frame. So they're not doing anything wrong, essentially. But by them submitting this S8 on Friday, it goes to show that they're being strategic, because in my personal experience, any company, not just Lucid, any company that has bad news that they want to drop, you drop it after hours Friday, because then that way kind of the weekend is a buffer zone. So this S8 right here, even though again Lucid technically didn't do anything wrong because it already was approved, went through the proper channels through the shareholder meeting, but they are registering 186 million shares, which works out to be just over $400 million at the current price. People might freak out because people will see this like, what the hell is going on? Is this mass dilution? What is happening? So essentially, when it comes down to it, like I said, this was already approved at the shareholder meeting, and the kind of the basis of this, just for a little bit further explanation, is this. So the purpose of this kind of stock incentive plan is to attract, retain, incentivize, reward, and motivate service providers who make important contributions to the company by providing these individuals with equity, ownership, and other incentive opportunities. So Lucid's had this since 2021, since the get-go. I myself, honestly, I don't like dilution, but I'm okay with this because I do agree that to get skilled labor nowadays, and especially in AMP1, because I know there's a lot of big businesses there and limited amount of kind of labor, you need to really incentivize people. And one way to do that is to give them a stake in the business, right? Through stock. So honestly, I'm 100% for this proposal, even though I didn't really vote again, but nonetheless. And on a side note, just be aware this is only for the 6,700-ish employees, 53 consultants, which technically Peter falls under this criteria right now, or independent contractors. Actually, no, sorry, I think Peter would be an independent contractor, and 8 non-employee directors. So this is kind of what that is for. So it's not like it's all going to Mark or Eric or someone else. So at the end of the day, I am 100% for this, but I'm sure some people might see this and freak the hell out. So just be aware that they are registering this. Does not mean that this is all going to be distributed within a 1-year time span, because even if we go over here, it goes to show that they still do have a lot of stock available. So right now they are registering this, or that's what the proposed was. So they do have 378 million shares that they can kind of max it out at. So they have not done that. They have not maxed it out. So meaning they're doing the responsible thing of staggering it and just doing it accordingly, right? They're just not just throwing it out there because they can. They're still doing it in a good fashion. So they, in my opinion, I think this might cause some bears to jump up and down because of this. And I think Lucid is somewhat aware of that people, or this could be interpreted as just dilution and cause some people to freak out. And this is why they submitted it after hours on Friday. So everything has a meaning behind it on why a company does something at a certain time. And I have noticed Mark, I don't know if this is actually coming from Mark, but I've noticed Mark is very strategic with the implementation of news. So they're kind of looking at macro things that are happening at the time. That's one thing that Peter honestly failed at. I gotta admit, every time Lucid had good news, and they knew about it in advance, but they strategically placed it where there was potentially bad macro data points. So it was just one of those things that Lucid had good news, but the market always tanked all the time. So Mark, I think, is a little bit more focused on at least how Lucid could be interpreted, and this is why, again, they did submit this S8. So moral of the story is that they are registering 186 million shares. So essentially it is dilution, but it is not going to be done like instantly. It's not just whatever else. So the market might freak out potentially, but I don't really see it being that big of a deal. And it is going towards good causes. Like I said, actual skilled labor is not just going to Mark or whatever else. The only other two things that did come out were 2 Form 4s, which did show that this individual right here, who is a director, just acquired some stock and then transaction code F. So that means they did sell, but it's for tax purposes. If you ever see transaction code S, that means it is a straight up sell, not for tax purposes. And that one, sometimes you have to look at their circumstances just to see if it's reasonable or not. But if it's for taxes, honestly, that's a pass. So this one right here, and then you did also have this right here. So this individual did acquire, and then transaction code F, they sold out some stock right here. So nothing really crazy. All these transactions did occur between the 4th and the 5th, as what is stated right here. So let me know your thoughts on these. I just wanted to kind of hop on and give a quick explanation on what these mean and if it's a reason to freak out or not. But yeah, I think that Lucid submitting it after hours on Friday shows that they are more self-aware of what now the market sees as a good thing, what is seen as a bad thing. And yeah, so let me know your thoughts. Hopefully everyone's having a kick-ass weekend. One final thing, pop over to my Discord. A lot of good people talking about stocks, options, crypto, completely free, everything that you ever need in life. So pop over there, link in the description below and also the comments. With all that said, appreciate all of you watching.